Hello guys, in this video, I am going to show you the top 10 fundamental tips and tricks of Ruby this 2021. Number 1. Ruby's first skill. Did you know that Ruby can actually deal twice as much as damage when she uses her skills in a close combat range? The damage you deal using the wave force is different than the damage Ruby deal using her scythe. The first range is the range of her scythe while the second range is the maximum range of her wave force. This is the reason why you should always consider this when dealing damage to enemy. The first screenshot represents a damage from a close combat. You can clearly see that there are two damage indicator while the second screenshot only show a single damage indicator since it represents a long-range combat. It means that the crab did only took damage from Ruby's first skill wave force while the first screenshot shows that the crab took damage both from the wave and Ruby's scythe. Number 2. Haas Claws vs Bloodlust Axe. Some people ask why I prefer Haas Claws instead of Bloodlust Axe. Well, Haas Claws benefits from Ruby's passive because Haas Claws gives physical lifesteal while Bloodlust Axe gives spell Vamp. If you do not understand, then try to read Ruby's passive skill first. Ruby's passive makes her inherits 115% physical lifesteal from her equipment. It means that she will gain additional lifesteal from Haas Claws. I will show a demonstration the difference of Haas Claws and Bloodlust Axe later. Because of Ruby's passive, Ruby will gain additional lifesteal from Haas Claws before converting all of her physical lifesteal into spell Vamp, unlike Bloodlust Axe that gives spell Vamp already. Most of you will surely react to this. It is true that if you read the latest skill description of Ruby in Mobile Legends, then you won't see any message stating that Ruby's physical lifesteal will be converted into spell Vamp, but if you research in Google, then you can see some past patch stating that Ruby's physical lifesteal will be converted into spell Vamp. That is the reason why Ruby do not benefit any lifesteal in her basic attack while all of her skills does benefit from lifesteal. This is the demonstration of Ruby using Haas Claws. You can see here that Ruby with Haas Claws deal 560 damage and get 193 lifesteal, and it increases into 289 lifesteal when his HP is lower than 40% because of Haas Claws' unique passive. This is the demonstration of Ruby using Bloodlust Axe. Ruby using Bloodlust Axe also deal the same amount as Haas Claws, which is 560 damage. That is because both item gives the same amount of physical attack, which is plus 70 physical attack. But even both item deal the same damage, they get different lifesteal. Bloodlust Axe only get fixed amount of lifesteal, which is plus 176. If we compare the two item, you can see that even they both give the same percentage of lifesteal, which is plus 20%, they still get different output. You can clearly see that Haas Claws gives a better lifesteal, especially when Ruby have a lower health, and what's good in it is that, it doesn't have any cooldown. It means that every time Ruby have a lower health than 40%, then her lifesteal increases. This is the reason why I use Haas Claws instead of Bloodlust Axe. The only benefit you get from Bloodlust Axe is its bonus cooldown reduction, which I can easily get from my other items such as War Axe and more. Number 3. Difference of physical lifesteal and spell Vamp. Physical lifesteal is a lifesteal that benefits from basic attack while spell Vamp is a lifesteal that benefits from skills. Some people are confused with physical lifesteal benefiting Ruby. Just like what I said earlier, Ruby really benefits from physical lifesteal, even that she use her skills to get lifesteal. You can see in this screenshot the different computation of physical lifesteal and spell Vamp. Number 4. Ruby best combo. I just want to say that all of those tips and tricks included in this video are just my answers to all of your questions. So this might be a pretty basic from most of you, but even I cannot believe that some people really are having a hard time understanding some pretty basic. So I am here to explain all those complicated things in simplest explanation I can do. There are no really best combo for Ruby. It just depends on how you play her. But I will show you 3 basic combo for Ruby. The first one is the Assassin combo. If you use Blade of Heptases on Ruby, then you can do the 3-2-1 combo, then do basic attack. Since you are an assassin, then it is better to use ultimate first as it deal the highest damage. Since you are using Blade of Heptases, then make sure you do basic attack after executing your combo so you can trigger the passive of Blade of Heptases. The second combo is a combo when you are using an endless battle. Since you are using an endless battle, then make sure you do basic attack every time you cast a skill, so you can trigger the passive of endless battle, which deals true damage to enemy. The last combo is any combo without doing basic attack that much. This is the combo that I use most of the time. Someone asked me to do this combo tutorial, but there are no best combo. You just have to do your own combo again and again. Your experience will tell you what to do in each situation. Example, you are facing against Odette. Then do a combo that you save your ultimate or second skill. If you use all of your skill, then you have to wait your cooldown first when Odette cast her ultimate. That is the reason why there are no best combo, because all of your combo should depends on situation. Number 5. Emblem Comparison. In this comparison, I am just going to show you the damage and lifesteal comparison for each emblem. I am going to buy Endless Battle and Blade of Despair. I chose Endless Battle because for some kind of reason, the lifesteal Ruby gets when she is level 1 is not appearing without a lifesteal item. She still get lifesteal without any item, so it is pretty clear that this is just a minor bug. I didn't chose Haas Claws because of its unique passive that shows different output when she has a lower HP. I didn't chose Bloodlust Axe because I don't want to confuse other people who have issues about spell Vamp on Ruby. I also use Blade of Despair as my second item because it gives the highest physical attack on MLBB. This is the only way to do a fair comparison because of Marksman emblem. I will explain it more in detail later on. This is the output of Assassin emblem. This is the output of Fighter emblem. The level 1 have the default of 8% spell Vamp coming from the Festival of Blood. Max level have 20% spell Vamp, assuming that you already got 12 kills. This is the output of Support emblem. This is the output of Marksman emblem. Upon checking, this is the final output. Marksman emblem have the highest lifesteal in level 1 while Fighter emblem have the highest lifesteal in max level. While on the other hand, Support emblem have the weakest lifesteal both in level 1 and max level. When it comes to damage, Assassin emblem have the highest damage both in level 1 and max level, while Marksman emblem have the weakest damage both in level 1 and max level. Remember that this test does not represent the whole power of each emblem since I only test it the way I use each emblem. Support emblem might have the weakest lifesteal, but Support emblem have Avarice that can help you gain equipment faster than any emblem. It also help you in many ways. Support emblem focuses more on hybrid region and movement speed, which other emblem do not excel. Fighter emblem might have the highest lifesteal in max level, but that is only an assumption of you getting 12 kills. You see, Ruby is not a killer like other fighters, so getting 12 kill is not a common thing for Ruby. And remember that Marksman emblem might have the lowest damage both in level 1 and max level, but that is only true because I only use Blade of Despair and Endless Battle in this test. You see, Marksman emblem have the talent called Weapon Master that gives additional 12% physical attack in each of your equipment. It means that the more equipment you have, the more this emblem excels. That is the reason why this test does not represent the whole power of Marksman emblem for Ruby. Assassin emblem might have the highest damage both in level 1 and max level, but this result might be different depends on how you use Ruby. Marksman emblem might give you the highest lifesteal and damage when you bought tons of Blade of Despair. But remember that this test does not represent the whole power of each emblem. My favorite emblem is Assassin emblem because of its damage, physical penetration and movement speed. The only wasted stats it has is its bonus critical chance that Ruby does not really need. This emblem also give me 5% cooldown, which help me decide a better equipment without considering the cooldown of each build. Number 6, Oracle. I get plus 7-2 lifesteal with Oracle while dealing 484 damage to enemy. I deal the same damage, which is 484, but without Oracle, I only get plus 55 lifesteal. So the answer to your question is, yes, Oracle does help Ruby. Does Oracle increase Ruby's lifesteal? No, but you can consider it that way since it increases Ruby's life regen. You can clearly see in the demonstration I showed that it really increases Ruby's life regen. Number 7, Queen's Wings. This is pretty obvious, but the reason why I had to include this in this tutorial is because there is someone who had a debate against me forcing me to believe that Queen's Wings doesn't increase Ruby's lifesteal. This is pretty basic, but the reason why it doesn't increase Ruby's lifesteal is because you might be doing it wrong. The spell Vamp this item gives is not permanent, it only triggers when the conditions are met. This item will give you additional 25% spell Vamp when your HP is 40% or less for 5 seconds. The red thing circling around Ruby is the representation of Queen's Wings triggering the spell Vamp. But this thing have a 60 seconds cooldown. You can see the icon here that represents the CD of this item. So to the one who believed that Queen's Wings doesn't increase Ruby's lifesteal, you are mistaken. I hope I already clarified that in this video. And to all those people who's watching this, please share this video to all Ruby users so they can use Ruby in a better way. The first screenshot represents Ruby's lifesteal when the Queen's Wings is activated, while the second screenshot represents the lifesteal of Ruby when Queen's Wings is not activated. Both screenshot deals the same damage coming from Ruby, but they get different lifesteal. The first screenshot get plus 185 lifesteal because the Queen's Wings is activated, while the second screenshot gets only plus 58 lifesteal. Number 8. Bloodlust Axe. I know that I have already discussed this earlier, but knowing that there's someone out there believing that Bloodlust Axe don't work makes my head ache. So at first, I am going to show the lifesteal Ruby get and damage Ruby deal using 2 items. This 2 items gives 70 physical attack and 5% cooldown. It doesn't literally give anything other than that. The reason why I do this is because I don't want to confuse you again, thinking that the lifesteal I get from Bloodlust Axe is from Ruby's passive, and just got amplifies from plus 70 physical attack of Bloodlust Axe. The first screenshot is from Ruby using the 2 items that gives a total of 70 physical attack, while the second screenshot is from Ruby using Bloodlust Axe. You can clearly see that they deal the same damage, which is 560 damage, but they get different lifesteal. Ruby with Bloodlust Axe gets 176 lifesteal, while Ruby with 2 items gets 64 lifesteal only. Number 9. Demon Hunter Sword. If you are wondering if this item does actually increase Ruby's lifesteal, the answer is yes. Demon Hunter Sword increase Ruby's lifesteal in each time Ruby do basic attack, and it can stack up to 5 times. You can see here that Ruby starts her lifesteal from 60 and it will increase each time she do basic attack. And from max stack, Ruby have now 150 lifesteal. This is the screenshots of Ruby's lifesteal from 0 stack into max stacks. You can see here that Demon Hunter Sword gives Ruby a higher lifesteal in each stack. Number 10. Flicker Tricks. There are many ways to use flicker using Ruby, and I am going to show you the 3 way to do a flicker trick. First, use your ultimate and flick backward so you can pull your enemies further into your territory. You can do this to pull your enemies to your tower or to your team. Second would be the most common combo for all Ruby user. Just flick and hook. You can use this to surprise your enemies or to get closer to your enemies. I usually use this to get closer to damage dealer that is hard to catch like Chang'e and more. The last one would be the combo that I just learned recently. This is similar to the second one, but the difference is that you are going to use your ultimate first before flicking. That way, enemies won't have a time to react because the animation is already done before they even have the time to take action. And that is all for today's tutorial. I hope you learned something, and make sure you share this video to your Ruby friends. If you learned something, then please like the video and subscribe to my channel. I really put my heart and effort into this one because I really want to make YouTube content creator as my main career, so please help me by not skipping ads and joining our monthly channel's membership. By doing so, you are helping me continue doing what I love to do for the rest of my life. We will do skin giveaways soon in our Facebook live streaming, so make sure you like and followed our Facebook page. Thank you so much, and see you in our next video.
Sand in your feet, feel the breeze in the summertime. Stars in the sky, one dime for a first time. Moving away to the sea. Moving away, can't you see?